Hey, why do you put that one on for? Like an idiot most of the time without that particular.
Yeah, we're live now, Jim. Hi everyone, welcome to another hashtag Ask Jim, which we are back live from training week, always at 7 o'clock. So
that's right.
We're going to get going now, right into a lot of questions. So just before we start, I wanted to make a few announcements. We had FMS4 down, which was our call centre number as well, and it's a very important system. So Eugene, our IT guru, gave me a message to pass on to franchisors and Z's watching. So it's back up now. It was basically a problem with the data centre that our data centre uses, which is called NEXDC. So people in the IT will know that, but it's back online. And I've also got something as well from Steve Walkham to mention. So Steve messaged me during the week and said, I thought you'd be interested to know that originally I met with them as prospects for Taylor Alcock and his partner Jane Rogers. So I think he met you guys back in August 2008, and after 11 years they finally come down. So welcome to you in the audience. So Steve Walkham made me 11 years, Jim, why the wait? So they're here. So that was a very nice, nurturing process. So what we're going to do, guys, is get into it right now. So we are looking at the camera right there. If you are on your phones in the audience, feel free to like it, share it, or comment on that. We'll try and get to as many as we can. Not ignoring the comments in the live stream tonight. I just want to get to as many of the new prospects questions here as we have. So let's get into it. So I'm going to ask the...
First of all, yep. I would just like to show off my new little thing.
That's true.
This is from Brooke, Linton and Stephanie's daughter, who's apparently... I thought that's really
during
nice.
the week, yes.
This is one of my heroes. Emperor Palpatine.
Who's the other one? You got Burns up there as well.
And Monty Burns, yes. Yeah.
So during the week, Brooke from Jim's Pest Control, Linton, a young daughter, gave that gift to you, which was very nice. And
I think it was good too.
We've given a couple of bears in exchange, one which is signed as well. So you can get them from the website as well, but they'll be for free, and we'll make sure Linton takes them back. So thanks for that, Brooke. And if you do want to get Jim a gift, there's another 4 in this collection, so maybe get one of those.
Only the bad guys.
Only the bad guys?
I don't want the heroes.
You haven't got a Darth Vader yet, though.
I haven't got Darth Vader.
No.
I've got a Stormtrooper.
You do? But
no, the clone. The clone thing.
You've got the clone one, so you need a Stormtrooper, you need Darth Vader. So there's a good way to get your fees waived for the month. All right.
Hey! I did not promise that.
All right, so we'll get going into
the... You can get a bear.
You get a bear.
That's better anyway. I mean, it's a unique signed bear. How could you ask for something more than...
Well, it's a one-off item. I don't think we've been asked to sign a bear yet, so Brooke will have one of one for that one. So let's get into the questions now. So where is Nick? Is there a Nick here? Up the back there, no worries. Nick from Jim's Cleaning. So it's a good question. There's no order to them, they're just random, so...
So a question I wanted to ask was, in your opinion, what do you find is better, doing a split or putting subcontractors on and expanding your own personal business?
Good question.
Yeah, it depends on the individual. Doing a split is easier. Anybody can do a split, and it's good cash flow. It's a great thing to be able to do, and I think all franchisees with regular clients ought to be working towards a split, if nothing else. But if you've got the ability to put on workers, there's a lot more challenges. But I do know there's franchisees making in the millions of dollars, and that's how they do it. So if you've got the ability, if you can put on workers, if you can keep the service up, which is the real challenge, then definitely go for workers and so forth. But I think everybody in dog wash, mowing, cleaning ought to be working towards splits. We'd like to grow the business totally on splits if we possibly could. It's a great way of doing it. The new franchisees come in, they love it, they get a great business to start with. The old franchisee gets this great wad of cash. Why would they ever leave us if you can get this? You pay negative fees if you do splits, don't you? It pays for 3 years worth of fees.
We have some guys that do one split a year. There's a guy called Josh Elms, and he's 12 years, and he's done 11 or 12 in 12 years. So
that's right. Well, I had one guy did 3 splits in his first year.
Yeah, that's a really, really good deal.
So it's a great way to go.
So Ray, thanks for that question. So let's go on to the next one from a groundskeeper Willie. I don't know who wants to own up to that one. Who's groundskeeper Willie? Up there. If you can't see him, turn the camera to groundskeeper Willie at the back. What a ripper. And he's got the shirt on as well.
He's not Scots though, but he's from Canada. That's close, I suppose.
Welsh, you got Scots.
You are Scots.
It's a ripping question.
So I wanted to ask, why don't you smile in all your photos with us?
Why don't you smile in photos, Jim?
Oh, I'm terrible at smiling. I do my best to have a sort of a semi-smirk, don't I? But
it is a bit of a smirk.
I like the old style. They like Victorian days, where everybody sit like this. That's really my character. I'm not a smiley person.
How did one of the former Mowing divisionals get you to smile though? Greg.
Oh yes, do you heard the story?
Tell them the story about it.
Do you know why I'm smiling in this logo?
Someone just told us today that it was edited.
What happened was that I was being photographed, and they were trying to get me to smile, until one of my managers put his tongue in the photographer's ear and pretended to lick it like that. That's why I'm smiling in this logo. In actual fact, if you go in, if you look at Jim Penman images on Google, if you Google that, you'll see a picture of me with the beard against the background of one of the old trailers with the more solemn look. That's the actual image it's taken from.
There you go, great question for that one there. And you've got to try and do something in the background to make Jim laugh. I know Archie's tried a few times as well to do it, so it's the only way to do it.
It's not easy. Another time, actually, they did a photo and they were struggling, and they were so desperate that one of my managers, he got on. There was a van there. He got up on a step ladder, and he took his trousers down. He had his bright red underjacks on.
I think you're going to say something else was bright red.
I wouldn't smile if that was the case. These guys get desperate to get me to smile. I'm not good at it.
We'll keep going. Thanks for that question, Groundskeeper Willie. Really good one. You've got a great look for gyms as well in Canada. All right, let's go to the next question here, which is from Veronica. Where is Veronica? Nice cheeky one.
And Willie's a hero, by the way. He tried to come via China to come from Vancouver. He attempted to come from China, but still managed to get here, which was a great achievement.
3 weeks later.
Hello, yeah. My question is, can we have a discount on our franchise?
Very cheeky one. You gotta ask.
You're a cheeky girl, aren't you? Our franchises are extremely, exceptionally good value. They're all heavily discounted of what they're really worth. They're worth this much, and we only charge this much. You should be appreciative.
Well, do you want to talk maybe about the compliance discount though, built into fees? If people don't know about that.
Yeah. Oh, well, you get a compliance discount, but everybody does. But yeah, you'll love it. It's incredibly good value. Whatever you pay, even if you paid a lot, it's still amazing value.
I will keep going here. So, got a few people tuning online, leaving comments, which is great. I'm not ignoring you tonight. I always acknowledge it, but I'm just going to try and move on as quick as we can. We've got one question from Dave McDonald, who fixed the gym's antennas, so I've got to ask him. Good evening, Jim and Joel. Do either of you know how to solve a Rubik's Cube, the film crew included? Simon, no, I'm too stupid.
I used to do it. When the Rubik's Cube came out, actually, I got a book on it. I can't remember it, but I actually learned how to do it. And I used to go to my Sunday school class. And I'd fix all the, they thought I was magic. I could fix all the Rubik's Cube like this. Nobody else could do it. So it was great. It's a great trick.
How did it help you with the girls?
I was married, thank you very much. And this is a Sunday school class thing with children, so it's not good.
We'll keep going. Where is Sam? Got one from Sam. Yeah. Sam at the front. Cool. From Jim's cleaning group.
Thank you. I just want to ask you, Jim, did you have this vision when you first started this business? I mean, to make this business like this huge with lots of franchisee in 4 countries?
No. Never occurred to me in the slightest it would go outside Victoria. I mean, as I've often said, when I started Jim, somebody asked me how many franchisees I might have if I'm really successful, and I said 100, if it really works out. That's all I thought of. I was just trying to survive the onslaught of another major competitor, and they terrified me. I thought they'd swallow me whole, and I just wanted to try and survive. It knocked me with a feather. You know, I had 60 by the end of the first year, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I'd go to I just designed a system that was, I just wanted to design a system that was really, really favourable, the sort of thing I would want to join. It was everything I'd want in a franchise, all the protections, everything else, and I thought I'll design that in. But I had no comprehension it would work out as well as it did. And people started coming into state, I couldn't believe it. I said, this is an all-mine business. You want to go interstate? And then overseas, going to New Zealand? Just crazy. Yeah. So no, I have complete lack of, I had a terrific vision for having great service to franchisees, but I had no vision for growth. And I rarely put numerical things on anything. If I have any goals, it's always in terms of things like attrition rate and star ratings and those kinds of things and customer service.
That's a great question. So we'll get to another one here. Is it from Dayaben? Dayaben? Sorry, I probably mispronounced that.
What do you not like of annoy about franchisee, like apart from the customer complaint?
So what do you not like about franchises apart from customer complaints? It's a good question.
What else? What could I possibly not like about it? If a franchisee gives great service, I love my franchisees, and most of them do. I find great enjoyment. You know, one of the things I love about star ratings is they're inherently positive. So whenever I have any communication with a franchisee about anything, about a complaint, about anything at all, I always check their star ratings and I always take the opportunity to thank them and congratulate them on that. So no, I reckon franchisees are great. I am very proud of when I look through the comments and the surveys and I see all this great stuff that clients are saying. I feel really proud and I feel privileged to have that person with me. And most of our franchisees give very, very good service, which is why our leads have gone skyrocketing in recent years. It's quite astonishing. We're spending less on advertising than we ever have. And yet the volume of client leads just keep on rising because their reputation is so good, because most franchisees give really incredible work.
It's a great question. So we'll keep going to some comments on the live feed right now here. So just real quickly, Brad Mansfield's gone, how about you pay for a Jim's tattoo on me? Great advertising. So we do have a few Jim's tattoos running around. I've shown you a few before. So if you are going to get a Jim's tattoo, we might be able to arrange something. We do encourage it. Well, I encourage it anyway. We have one from Adam Paris. Who would I contact if I have a business idea? I understand Jim probably doesn't invest in startups, but I thought I'd ask. No, doesn't invest in startups. We'll keep going.
We have so many great opportunities within gyms to do all kinds of things. I could have 100 different things we'd like to run. Start up a new gyms division, for example. There's all kinds of things we'd love to be able to do if we had the right money, but more the right people actually.
So Adam, if you have a service you are doing and you want to franchise it, that's probably the best way to go.
That is the best way.
Yeah.
Come to us. We're good at that sort of thing. I mean, you get someone like building inspections. I know we've got some building inspectors here this week in training. It was about 8 years ago. Somebody approached me and said, I'd like to do building inspections. Now, I like the idea, but who would have thought that we'd have like 130 building inspectors, we'd be the biggest in the country after only about 8 years.
Paul come to you with it on a napkin.
Yeah.
I remember he walked in your office there.
That's right. So that was a startup idea, and it's been phenomenal. It's a great division. And tremendous customer service ratings. They're typically about 4.8. They're very, very good people. It's a great division. But who would have thought it? We used to use a company called ArchiCentre, but we are vastly bigger than anybody else now. From scratch in 8 years. It just shows the right person combining with the strength of the brand can achieve extraordinary things.
That's very true. It's a good success story. We've got an interview of Paul as well on YouTube. Peter's gone here, hey Jim, wondering has anyone bought the green mowing package from Ego yet? The solar powered trailer we released with all the package. Are there any running the complete setup? So has anyone got that trailer on the road taking all the tools out?
I don't think so yet.
So
I haven't heard it, but
well, we do have people trialling it. So in terms of buying the whole package, not yet. But I know there's some offers and all that sort of stuff in Ego. So
we're actually, to a certain extent, we're still trying to make the whole thing work. We want to know that it's got the right package. Because those that don't know, it's a trailer that actually it has a big battery in it and a solar panel on the roof, and you can store the battery in. And while you're mowing the lawn or using your brush cutter or whatever, which is all battery powered, it's recharging. Largely from solar power, but it can also charge off the engine directly as well. So what we've had to do is to trial this and work out how to get the bugs out of it. Because it's got to be a really effective pattern. But I think it's great actually. I really think that it's the future. Because the big problem was always batteries. It's storage. But battery powered equipment is so much better. It's quieter. It costs a bit to get set up with, but they don't wear out as much. They last a lot longer. There's no vibration problem, which is a big issue, especially with older franchises. You get repetitive things like that, and it's more environmentally friendly, which is something we've all got to look at, because greenhouse gases are a real serious problem. I'm looking forward to the time when I've got a electric powered car that's powered from the solar panels on my farm. I would love to never have to go into a petrol station ever again. That would be fantastic.
So if you are a Victorian mowing franchisee, you can actually borrow the trailer. So the trailer is available from Ego, has all the gear in it as well.
We can get shipped in the state too.
Well, it's going to be a bit hard to do that, but we can.
Why?
It's not easy. It's not easy to ship the trailer. We've got to get it back. Ego owns it. There's a deal in place. It's all. I'll tell you later.
We can get one made.
We can get one made if you want, but you've got to make it yourself and get it paid because Ego technically owns that trailer and leases it back to us.
Well, no, but we can build a trailer. It's made by Bayswater Trailers.
So you can get one built. But you'll have to get a separate one built to then do it into state.
Yeah, that's right. No, we'll get a second one built. If anybody wants a trailer, they're great devices. They cost a bit to set up. You'd like one, would you?
Yeah, I'll have one. Queensland.
Queensland. Oh, here we go.
Going to get shipped to Canada, and actually it rains all the time over there anyway, where you are. It's beautiful in British Columbia. I've been there, but it's rather wet.
It is made by Bayswater Custom Trailers, and you can check it out on their website as well. So we have it on Facebook page.
But you can power off the car, but it's not quite as environmentally friendly. But Queensland's a good place.
Queensland would be perfect for it.
It really is. When you look at the cost, it doesn't actually add significantly to the value of to the cost of a franchise. But in terms of taking your running costs down, and there's many advantages like the fact that you can start early in the morning, which is often a problem because the noise of the engine. You can do places like nursing homes. It's where the quiet is an important thing, or schools. So there's many advantages. I see in the future this as being a really major thing. Ego's a great company, actually. They're really good to deal with.
They're really good. So let's get to another question here from the viewers, which is Sophie. Where is Sophie? This is a really good question. This is a smart one. Jim will like this.
Yeah, this is a kind of 3 questions in one, but I'd love to pick your brain. Do you believe that the rise of socialism is a sign of a societal collapse looming? And do you believe that America being so decided politically is part of that collapse, and will it be the first Western country to go?
Yeah.
Probably one of the smartest questions we've had in a year. Above my head.
No wonder you're reading biohistory. I think our society's in a lot of trouble. Not so much socialism as such, but just the normal process that happens to wealthy urban civilizations, that they decline. And what you're seeing in America with the loss of faith in the political system, and all over the Western world too, is a very, very big danger sign. I mean, eventually, if we don't do anything about it, Western civilization will go the same way as Rome. It'll collapse. It'll just decay. The economy will go down. You'll get social division, the end of democracy, all those kind of things. The big difference now is that because of the science, the advances in science, particularly in the biological sciences, we actually starting to understand a lot more of what happens. And we're actually developing treatments. In fact, I was with my research team this morning going through experimental designs to work out ways of reversing these very, very bad and corrupting changes in society, which is basically a result of excess wealth. And I think actually I'm very optimistic that we will be able to do something about this, that we'll be able to bring benefits in terms of wealth and mental health and physical health and many other ways that are beyond anything achieved before in history. We just need to put the science into it. But I think it'll happen. And the whole of the resources of Jim's group is actually ultimately behind this, making this happen. That's what I do with my money, basically. We live in a reasonably modest sense. We don't live poor, but we don't live the life of the rich and famous. But all the money that I've got available goes into this research project, which I think could change society and the world. That's a great question.
It is. I've got to mark down. If you want to learn about Jim's stuff, we have a podcast. Yeah, it's really good.
That's the best kind. We love them. We love them.
We do have a podcast with Jim on that as well. It's on YouTube and on your Meet Jim page as well on your website. All the videos are there. If you do want to look up about that as well, it's really interesting. So let's get to another question here from James. James has a question from the Jim's Cleaning Group.
Hey, just like to ask, who will take your place leading this company?
Ooh. Okay, I'm feeling like an old man, 67, but I've probably got another 20 years left in me for a start. I've got quite a few people around actually that are good. If I drop dead tomorrow, which is unlikely, very good health, but if I did, there's a management board, including my wife, who's quite capable. She's got a building business in her own right, and she takes a role in it. I've got a daughter, Jasmine, who is exceptionally capable. She's finishing up her master's and she's going to start working for us. And I've got a son who's a pretty good lawyer. So I've got some kids who are good at taking over. I've got a very good, strong management team, like Joel, Matt, who's just started with us fairly recently. He's taken a very senior role. He's great. So there's good people. I actually don't do as much as you might think in terms of gyms. The actual overall management is with other people. I tend to get more involved with the nitty-gritty of things like customer service and division stuff and everything.
We've got a hologram ready to go as well, Jim. Load up a Star Wars style, chuck you out, away you go. That's why we're doing all these video content to capture as much as we can. So I've actually got a question about customer complaints, what you just mentioned there. So Joel Ryan, on the live stream, has gone, hey guys, I'm a franchisee in Canberra Mowing. How long does it take for your star rating to go up? I'm sitting on 4.8 stars and my last 32 ratings have been 5 stars and hasn't moved the rating up.
There's a bit of a weight of the past. But what we do periodically is give franchisees the option of deleting ratings in the past. So in other words, that's what's going to happen. Say the middle of the year, there'll be an option that says you can, as long as you've got at least say 40 ratings, you can delete anything before a certain date, and they'll take it up. Mm-hmm. We actually do look, for most purposes, we only look at the ratings that would take place since June last year. So because we give a certain preference to franchisees on good ratings in terms of new work, we actually look at the post-June rating. So a lot of franchisees. We've also changed the system a little bit. I'm a little bit more, like if I see a 4-star rating these days and it says good work or something like that, I always raise it to 5. So, and we've also started the policy too, which I can just announce, in fact it hasn't gotten the newsletter, that we've got a policy now, we just got approved by advisory committee yesterday as a matter of fact, that if a franchisee gets a bad rating or a complaint and they manage to go back and fix the client, even if it was lateness, poor job, doesn't matter what it is, as long as they go back and make that client happy and get something from the client so happy, we will delete the poor rating, we will delete the complaint. So we're going to be doing that.
So there you go. That's why you should watch Jim's live every week. It's breaking news.
Breaking news.
All the time.
Now the only other, the bad side of that is that when we actually monitor complaints, we do this thing called 666, 6 complaints within 6 months, at least 6% of leads. It's going to be 4 complaints within 6 months and 4% of leads. So it'll be a little bit tougher on the complaints that come through, but any franchisee who can do anything to satisfy the client, we will take off the rating, take off the whatever, the complaint.
So there you go. There you have it. That's the first one as well. You don't have to wait to the newsletter. You get it on every week. So tune in when you're a franchisee, because Jim does make announcements as well during the weekly show. So I've got one here from Chris Witt on the live stream as well. Jim, when the Monopoly comes out, will you do a Jim's Monopoly live stream? So for people who doesn't know, we do have a Jim's Grit Monopoly coming out end of April 2020.
Playing Monopoly?
Yeah, someone wants to play. You want to play it on a live stream. We can do a few videos, I guess.
It's a horrible game.
We'll give it a go. We'll give it a crack.
Yeah, my kids always love Monopoly, but I'm going to insist that it's Jim's Monopoly from now on.
There we go. So in 2 weeks' time, we're actually going to do a video announcement, so you guys can vote actually on the cover as well, and actually the board design. So when
they
people
complain like mad, my kids actually. They push me to play, and then I come in and I win. I make all these deals, and they say, we don't even like Monopoly.
We can do it, Chris. We can give it a go. April 2020, there's a lot of divisions on it. Okay, so next one here from Taylor. Where is Taylor? Jim's cleaning group up the front.
So, Jim, has there been any recent breakthroughs or exciting discoveries with your research recently?
Oh, that's what Jimbo recently. I mean, we discovered some very, very interesting things. We found out, for example, that if you you have to translate this into people, but we've done it all with rats. But if you restrict a male rat, and then they sire an offspring, even though they never see the offspring act as if they are food restricted themselves. And that might sound strange, but there's a whole lot of behaviour associated with food restrictions, such as they make better parents, much better mothers, for example, and they're more hard-working. They act in a way which is actually very positive for society. So it does suggest this is actually an epigenetic change, that if you do something to one generation, the next generation could be dramatically improved. In human terms, what it would mean that if you could take some sort of a treatment when you want to just swallow something or have some pheromone or something before you fire a child, your child will be vastly more likely to be successful, to have a good marriage, to have a good job, to be hardworking, to be law-abiding, to be respectful, be a good husband or wife. So it's actually, it's very exciting stuff. And I'm very optimistic with the next few years. You'll see some very major changes. If I had a look at my whole biggest aim in life would be to make this thing happen. And we've had some results that suggest it really, really can work. I'm a lot more optimistic than I was a few years ago. I think we can change society for the better in a way that's quite extraordinary. If you ever look at a society like ancient Athens, which was very warlike, of course, but incredibly creative, we could have that. We could have a situation where the average person was an incredible, creative, incredibly productive person.
It's a great question there. If you want to learn more about Jim's research, go on the podcast as well, on the YouTube channel, where Jim goes into a bit more depth about it as well, about biohistory and your research itself.
And look at biohistory.org, and you can see, you can learn my book and all kinds of things too. There's a lot of good stuff on there.
That's it. So Rory Green, just with a comment on the live feed's gone. He wants us to do a real test in the field with the ego stuff because he's suspicious regarding long cooch and buffalo. So the idea is to follow a franchisee actually live in the field. So we'll make sure there's some cooch and buffalo varieties in there, Rory.
They've been doing it, and it seems to work fine from what I can see.
Yeah, well, we haven't shared the content, so I've got to make sure, because the company we're dealing with, Ego, they're very strict on their marketing things, so they don't want one thing bad said about the product by the franchisee, so we've got to make sure it's very, very strict. So
I think the power of these things is quite reasonable. I've got not an Ego one, but I've got a battery-powered on my farm, and I cut the grass when it goes that high, and it cuts it fine. It's a great experience, actually. I love it because you just pull that and the blades start going. And if I go over the gravel, with a gravel path there, then it stops, and there's no noise, and you can sort of listen to something nice they're really great machines. I love them.
We've got a bit more content coming out, Roy. So we are going to go out in the field again and make sure we get a scripted video showing you all that sort of stuff. So and we'll have your Instagram as well, Rory, by the way. So we've got Trish as well. Where's Trish with her question? Trish is going to be bookkeeping.
Yes. Are the gardens and the housekeeping on site provided by gyms?
No.
Too expensive for gym.
Because gyms is good if you've got something to do. Like my gardening next door is done by gyms, by Eric Adams, he's a great local franchisee. We get gyms to do all kinds of things, but for the smaller jobs, if you've got a full-time job, it would not pay you. You're better off paying somebody and having a full-time staff. So.
What about your dog wash as well? You got a polo gets washed?
Dog wash gets washed. So we would use gyms for those kinds of smaller jobs. But I don't think any franchisee works at a job where they're completely working for that particular. You wouldn't be a franchisee if you had a full-time job. It's just not compatible.
So Tony's our name. He probably represents 20 divisions. He's a handyman. He's a fencer. He's everything. So he does a really good job. It would be a massive rate if he had to get the franchisees.
He often wears Jim's gear of various kinds. Actually, you'll see him around the place. So he sort of feels himself part of Jim's, but he's technically a worker, not a franchisee, even though he bleeds green, as we used to say in the old days.
There we go. So we have a quick question for Belinda, who's from Dogwash up in North Queensland. Besides mowing, which is the best division? Question mark. Besides mowing, which is the best division? I always like that question.
Oh dear, whatever I say is going to offend somebody.
Well, maybe just pick everyone who's in the audience and the name tag and you can look.
Well, there's a lot of great divisions in gyms. I love cleaning because they keep on growing and they're beating mowing these days in terms of the things. Dog wash is fantastic. Dog wash is basically doubled over the past 2.5, 3 years.
They have. They're largest in Australia by a mile now.
The only problem is you guys are so noisy. You get in induction training and you know when dog wash is coming through because they get all these people jumping up and down in these red shirts and they sit around in franchisee training till all hours of the night talking and laughing, and it's a very distinct division, dog wash. But
a very distinct division.
Very different.
Right.
Especially since Sharon Connell to come. But Sharon is wonderful. And look, Hader in cleaning is wonderful. When you've got a great leader, you can do fantastic things. And we've got, is Lloyd here? Lloyd from bookkeeping?
We did have an interview with Lloyd today, so we'll release that soon.
And Lloyd is good too. Since he took over bookkeeping, that's going better.
50 franchisees.
They're not quite 50 yet.
Well, he told me 50 today, so.
No, he's not.
Maybe he's rounded up as a bookkeeper.
He's counting franchisors who don't actually have a franchise. I said you can't. But I said when you get to your 50, you'll put your
picture
poster
on the wall.
up in the. So that's something to aim for.
So maybe you want to tell people about those things on the wall. There's actually a bit of science.
Yeah, there was a complaint a long time ago because our training room was too mowing oriented. So we thought, well, that's probably pretty fair. So we decided every division that's got at least 100 franchisees gets 2 on the wall, and every division with at least 50 gets 1. So that's the Hall of Fame. So as the 100 plus will be mowing, cleaning, antennas, dog wash, fencing, pool care, I think.
Test and tag, skip bins.
Skip bins, test and tag. How can I forget that?
Yeah.
No, I don't think skip bins is there.
Skip bins is in there, yeah. Skip bins is in there. Yeah.
It hasn't got more than 100 though.
They got one photo though. One photo.
I know, but the ones with at least 8.
That's cleaning, fencing, not handyman, mowing, cut.
No,
Yeah.
not in the 100 plus.
Cleaning's got 2. I'm trying to think of 4. Building inspections.
Yes, building inspections.
That's the other one.
There's 8 with 2. And then there's the ones with 50. And actually, in fact, that counts because when we're doing the Gyms Monopoly, the ones with the 100 plus get multiples. Like cleaning's got the stations, for example.
So Mowing's going to be the Mayfair?
No, Mowing's got.
Mowing's not Mayfair actually.
No, they're green. They're green.
Yeah.
So dog wash is the red ones. Like Trafalgar Square. So we sort of divided those up, and then the other divisions got sort of mentioned a bit.
And the actual game is written by Jim itself. So we put that in the blurb. It's literally Jim's Monopoly. You wrote all the cards. We've had to get a little board done with you, all that sort of stuff.
They did it. They were talking about it, and I just came back the next day with the basic design.
It's the most productive thing I've seen you do in terms of 4 pages written the next day.
I don't even know I put up with this guy. The most productive thing, he's worked for me for 8 years, and the most productive thing was designed some stupid game of Monopoly. It just shows what an opinion he has of his boss.
4 pages long was very good. So it's actually Jim's Monopoly written by Jim, which I think is very, very unique.
It's quite fun too. All the cards, like
The chance cards and stuff, community
Instead
chests.
of chance and community chests, we've got customer service and business success. So if you get a bad review from a customer, you go to jail in my monopoly. It's not, not just a black mark, you get sent to jail.
We actually wanted to change them, but they were non-negotiable.
We wanted to make them go to breach, but they wouldn't let us. What's that?
No, it's not Mirrorbugs. Cleaning's actually going to be the station.
Cleaning is the
so
station.
all the cleaning's got this four of them. So that was a good one there. So a few people on the live stream, Belinda's gone, see it was dog wash, and Steve's going was cleaning. So can you make a pick out of cleaning and dog wash?
No.
No. All right, we'll go 50-50.
They're all great. I love my divisions, and I especially love the ones that are 100 plus. They're the star divisions. And
So-
the others are heading towards. Actually, I reckon pest control is going to come through one of these days. It's going well.
Well, it's on track for 100. So
Yeah, it's
on track.
heading towards it. That'll be great. I'll be looking forward to them getting their second picture up there.
That's it. So let's get to the next one here from Katie. Where is Katie? Right at the front.
What is your next division to be added to the group?
Next division to be added to the group.
I
Is there
think
any new divisions on the horizon?
I don't think we're looking at anything right now. Have you got one in mind?
You can get a commission too if it starts up. We are. Oh, you can go on about that.
Well, there will be a gym on the site. But actually, one thing in all seriousness, that we do have personal training, which is just starting off, which is one I really love because I love fitness. I think I'm a huge believer in fitness. It's good for your body, good for your mind, energy, everything. I think fixed gyms are a very different kind of business. We tend to be good at the kind of business where we go out and do something for somebody in their home, especially, or place of business. That's kind of what we're good at.
So we have Jim's personal training coming out hopefully in a couple of weeks, and you'll get onto them when your foot's healed. I've sent you an email about it. You probably haven't seen it yet, but we're going to get you out to do some videos with Alan.
Yeah, I'll
get
do
it from the
some
staff
videos.
as well. So we're going
That's
to
right.
have Jim's personal. It's a 360 outdoor gym. So they go to corporate environments, they go to parks, they do businesses, all sorts
And
of stuff.
we'll be making available to our staff as
Yes.
part of the techniques, because like we have fruit. Jim's Home Fresh delivers 2 boxes of really beautiful fruit every Monday morning, and that gets distributed to the staff, which is great because I can see a lot of this lollies and chocolates.
Well, you always ignored them. You always the lollies or the fruit. That you always went for the lollies. So there's no more lollies now. So you're
You
on the
can
fruit.
talk.
I'm thinning up. I'm losing a bit. I'm thinning up a bit. Don't worry about that. I'm thinning up a bit.
That's good. About time.
Because of the fruit in the office.
Hey,
Jim,
listen,
that's
don't
why.
point the finger, young man.
Oh, okay.
So we do that. We're going to have personal training. We're going to provide that to our staff, and we're going to have the gym.
Gym on site here. So there will be
on
Jim's
site
gym
here within a few months. So anybody who comes back to do franchise or training, you're going to be able to come, or anybody visits on site for any reason, you can come and you can use our gym. It's not for the public, it's just for internal. My wife actually runs Lee runs the conference centre, and she sort of likes it because it's not worth what we're spending on it. I said, yes, but it's good for my staff. I want them to be healthy.
We're going to have the logo Jim's Gym, don't worry. We're going to have Jim in the gym, in Jim's Gym. So it's going to work out very well. Because we had to do a few videos for the council, right? The council blocked it for ages, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, we had problems. But fitness is great. Actually, just yesterday I bought a rowing machine because I've got a sore foot, so it's hard for me to run it right now. So I got a rowing machine. I just went the first time this morning and just gone down. It's good. It's really good. Got to stay fit.
Yeah, because you've been quite frustrated at the moment, obviously, because you haven't been able to do any
I
running
know.
or anything.
I don't know
So,
what's wrong with this. I've got antibiotics and it just doesn't get better.
for those who can't see, Jim's in thongs at the moment. So,
No, I'm not.
oh, you're not. You're in boots. Oh, okay. I didn't look. You've been wearing thongs. You put them on tonight.
I was wearing thongs a lot, but now I put them
Yeah.
on.
Okay, there we go. All right, so let's go to John. Where is John? John from Dogwash.
What's your dream gym's franchise that you don't currently have?
Your dream one.
Dream.
So, yeah, the dream franchise that you don't have.
Oh, there's so many. I'd like to have some of the medical ones. It'd be nice to have Jim's doctors. I really do. I think home visiting is something that people don't do. It used to be so in the past, but some people really like that kind of stuff. I like to do it. I reckon it's a great. If there's a medical doctor out there who wants to, I think it'd be a good one. And then there's just things like physiotherapy would be a great one to have too. I love health related stuff. I'm really keen on that. It'd be nice to have some gyms, nutritionists and so forth, and like health advice and those kinds of things too. I have a very strong feeling for anything that's to do with health and well-being. So yeah, there's a few. So if you've got any ideas, you never know. A lot of ideas actually come internally. The people who are actually part of gyms already, they come up with a new division. That's happened in the
Yeah,
past.
it's a lot. Like Paul Comerford was here for termite and pest control. And that's the building inspections one.
That's right. And
Yeah.
he started 2 divisions. The other one's hazardous waste removal too.
That is true. He does have 2. So let's keep going on here. So where is Kyra? Kyra? Right at the front? Oh, Kiara, sorry. I'm always stuffing names up with this. Kiara.
You probably already answered this, but do you have the original photo that the logo is based on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have it, but you can actually see it on, if you Google it, Jim Penman images, and there's a picture of me against a trailer with the old photo, and you can actually see it's that photo online.
It's also on Jim's Instagram as well. So if you go at the Jim Penman and follow him in Jim's group, he's on there as well. So it's the one where you got a bit of the red tinge in the beard and you're standing a bit more the dark green uniform back on next to the trailer.
Yeah, that's right.
That's with the older one, yeah. So we do have that. So it is on Jim's Instagram, at the Jim Penman. All right, so let's go to the next question here. Where is Sarah? Sarah's up the front. Sorry, Sarah.
Your all-time favourite movie?
Oh, quite a few actually. I like Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves?
Is great.
Right.
Gladiator is one of my favourites and stuff. So many. Jurassic Park is pretty good too. I remember that seeing dinosaurs in real life for the first time was one of the most amazing experiences ever, because you'd only seen those horrible models before. Never been quite as good.
In real life?
Yeah.
Time machine.
The first one with Planet of the Apes, with Charlton Heston. I love that one. They got the special effects so much better, but the actual story was fantastic in that one. There's so many great series around those days, isn't there? We're just watching one, what do you call it, The Man in the High Castle on Amazon Prime, which is fascinating. It's about a future where the Germans and the Japanese won the Second World War and divided up America, which is really quite freaky, the way they portrayed it, which is really fun. And there's some wonderful historical ones around, like
The Crown. You like? You've watched before?
Yeah, The Crown is pretty good. The one about Wolf Hall, which is about Cromwell, and there's a couple that were on Stan about the White Princess, about Tudor England and that kind of period. So there's some wonderful stuff around. Often historical series are great.
But you're also a big fan of Ricky Gervais.
I am too.
Yeah, so you like The Office and all that sort of stuff?
No.
You don't like The Office?
I don't like The Office. No,
Okay.
It's horrible.
All right.
I think he's very funny. I think The Invention of Lying is a really funny film. Have you ever seen Invention of Lying? It's hilarious. I mean, he's sort of a very militant atheist, which doesn't fit well with my Christian principles, but he's so funny, that guy. He really is.
So we answer another question here from Bal. Is it Bal? Bal? No worries. Proxy.
Will you ever grow your beard back?
Here's a man with a magnificent beard. I shaved off my beard because it made me look too old. Even in my late 40s, it was going grey. If I had a reason, if somebody says, "Hey, we'll raise $100,000 for some worthy cause like mental illness," I'd do it. That'd be the reason. Yeah. I do make these offers. I actually offered to go and mow somebody's lawn. What did I say?
$500 to mow someone's lawn in the Melbourne metro area.
In the Melbourne metro, I'll go and mow. If you can raise to raise $500 for charity. So I do things for charity to raise money. But
I think a good idea is for you to grow the beard and for him to cut it off for that $100,000.
We'll get going here. So we got one on the live stream. So Daniel Plunkett's gone. Jim, what is your favourite place to eat out?
There's a local Indian restaurant about 5 minutes from here, which is really nice. We go there quite often. And there's a little cafe. We go for lunch. I have a veggie burger. Not very elaborate, I suppose. I have very simple tastes. Actually, I reckon the best place to eat out is in the backyard for a barbecue, honestly. Wood-fired stove, and you put some corn on it and just or something. It's just absolutely delicious, and the flavour of the smoke gets into the meat. I love having on my farm. I do that.
You've had some staff ones at your house as well in the front yard. You've had the pit
there. It's quite different actually. Wood-fired is very different taste. We actually had a staff sort of Friday lunch at my place, and they brought along these gas barbecues, and then I had my wood-fired, open grill one, and people who tasted it said, "This is so much better." People have got no idea what they're missing. The smoke gets into the meat. It's really nice. It's Australian wood.
So we'll keep going on here.
You should have tried that before you. I mean, I know you didn't ask the question, but perhaps somebody else. But before you go, if you could have an Australian wood-fired barbecue, it's a very different thing. It's uniquely Australian.
So let's keep going here. Another question from Bree, and it's gone, how do you compare to Jeff Bezos? Which is the first one, which is why
I'm not quite as rich as him.
We've had a few comments on, I remember I told you this during the week, people saying, you know, I'll make Jim rich, he has a penthouse on the Gold Coast, all that sort of stuff, yeah.
They tried, the BRW was pestering me to try and go in their Rich 500. I said, you've got to be joking. I'm off that by at least an order of magnitude in terms of my personal wealth. Jim's is very big and very prominent, but you've got to understand how the franchising system works. First of all, we only take about 8% of our franchisee income in terms of fees. And then most of that goes to the franchisors, and a lot of that goes to the divisional. So what comes to us at national office is much, much less, and most of that gets spent in things like IT and all the support and everything. So in reality, even though we're a very prominent company, it doesn't make as much money as you might think. Even just to put $1 million a year into research and science is actually a challenge, because there's so many other things that we need to do to develop the business.
So we've got one more from Nicole. So that'll be all the viewers' questions we got through, which is great, so thanks for leaving these. Where's Nicole in the front row? From Jim's Dog Wash.
What are your thoughts on social media?
Well, it's good, obviously. But I never have anything to do with it. My wife tries to get me onto, what do you call it? WeChat, that's right, it was the Chinese one. And I try and get on it, but I really don't have that kind of mind for it. I love reading Economist or this kind of thing, and Australian and books and audio books and stuff, but I just can't get the feeling for social media. It just seems to me awfully, well, apart from this, which was incredibly educational, it's mostly very light and too personal. That's why I rely on this guy. I have never been on most of these things, but I've never got on Instagram.
Yeah, but you have an Instagram.
I have an Instagram.
You have a LinkedIn. You have a Facebook.
I have all these
things.
YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's not me, it's him. So anything goes wrong, you can blame him for it.
Would you consider a social media division?
Yes, if we had the right person come along who wanted to do Jim's social media or something like that, that would be worth doing. Apart from anything else, it's one of those divisions that has a very big, strong internal market. It's like Jim's bookkeeping, for example. I mean, with nearly 4,000 franchisees, most of them are going to need bookkeeping. It's very good. So social media is the same thing. So I'd be very happy with that. A lot of things, it's not so much the idea, it's the person. If you have the right idea with the wrong person, it'll fail completely. Whereas with the wrong idea, just can't succeed no matter how good the person is. But if you look at the divisions that work in gyms, there's no enormous logic to it. You know, Dog Wash was a relative failure until a few years ago when we bought it back. It had like 30 franchisees. It was going nowhere. You put the right leadership in place and it does well. And the same thing with cleaning, same thing with all the ones I mentioned. They've all had great leaders at one time or other.
I think it's social media. We've been approached about it a few times before. The problem with it is if a franchisor has a bad experience with that division, it just spreads like wildfire. So most average lifespan of our region, because our regional franchisors allocate your money to digital marketing companies, they all have their own people, and the average lifespan, I can tell you from overseeing a lot of it, they might stay with a digital marketing company and change every 3 months. So if they have a bad experience, it just spreads like wildfire. And we wouldn't want to probably subject that to a person, but there is a lot of opportunity if you have a digital marketing company to approach franchisors or divisions and try and give them some free sort of work and then get in that way. That's what I would suggest, because we get prospects all the time for it. Our franchisors are responsible for who they pick to get the most amount of work for the division.
Jim's is a gossip factory in the extreme. Any good experience or bad experience gets spread very, very fast off a lot of people because everybody's always in contact with each other.
Puts pressure on those. It's good. It puts pressure on those people who want to get in gyms. If they burn one person, they're just done. So it puts a massive level of
which is also leverage too.
It is.
Because if anybody doesn't look after one of our people in any way, they're stone dead. They'll miss out on everybody. Nobody will deal with them at all. So you want to deal with anybody in gyms. You've got to look after them well.
It's going to be a great deal. We have preferred suppliers always coming at us to get on there, and it's going to be a great deal. So all that sort of thing. We're looking to ramp that up. So what we're going to do now is thanks for all the questions, guys, and sitting around. Really, really appreciate it. So Jim, the books. So we're going to give away a couple of these signed books. So we've got Jim's book here, and they're going to be signed by Jim. This is the one you actually have to pay for. The other one, which you've got at training, you can get on the website for free. So Jim, I marked a few questions down there. The one from Sophie is from Sophie regarding Western society, all that sort of stuff, which I know you like.
I'll have to give you a book.
Way over my head. So we'll get that to Sophie, and then groundskeeper Willie. just for his flight back to Canada. So you can have the signed book and you can read that about everything. And so we'll get that signed for you as well. So guys, we do this every Wednesday night. Jim does have a podcast as well called the Jim's Cast. We have YouTube content, Facebook content that we're relentless with. People in the audience as well, we are wanting to try and film as many franchisees as possible doing your jobs in the field to show how much of a local expert and business owner you are. So please email video@jims.net if you're interested, especially if you're in Melbourne. So we'll see you again next week. And thanks, Jim. Hopefully I don't get fired tomorrow for some of the comments tonight, but we'll see how we go.
Not so far.
We'll see you next week at 7 o'clock, and thanks to the boys and thanks for your participation. So see you next week and have a good night.
Okay.
Thank you.